Questions about how a blaze like this could occur in Hong Kong, a city full of skyscrapers and with a relatively good public safety record, are swirling. Joining me now on the set is Oliver Farry from our International Affairs Desk. He was also our former Hong Kong correspondent. Hello to you, Oliver.
Morning.
First question about this fire and the aftermath. What more can you tell us?
Well, as we've heard, the death toll now stands at 128. There's still 200 people missing. Now, they may actually be overlapping instances. These are referred to particularly distress calls that remain unresolved from Wednesday. Firefighters did manage to rescue some people who had managed to take refuge in the stairwell of their building, but they're probably going to be very much exceptional cases. It appears that most of those perished in 2 of the 7 blocks that caught fire at Wong Fuk Court. Now, we have heard also that the fire alarms did not go off, which is one of several incidents of a failure that have led to this fire. There have already been 3 arrests made by police, 2 directors of the company carrying out the renovation and 1 consultant. And in a separate investigation, Hong Kong's Independent Commission Against Corruption today arrested 2 architects who were consulting that company as well. They're suspected of corruption because of the unusual tender process that resulted in the management company of Wong Fuk Court choosing by far the most expensive offer to renovate the apartment complex, one that carried a price tag of 330 million Hong Kong dollars. That's 36 million euros. And residents had already complained about that, but their voices went unheard. The South China Morning Post is also reporting that the company involved, Prestige Construction and Engineering, had a record of safety violations. Hong Kong Labour Department said that it had visited the site 16 times and had actually warned the company of potential fire hazards, most recently November 20th, that is 6 days before the actual fire.
And still need to find out why the fire occurred, but officials are saying that the use of materials like foam and bamboo definitely caused the fast spreading of the blaze.
The bamboo is actually something that they have put aside for the moment, though there is a little bit of confusion over that. However, the netting used to cover the scaffolding has been shown to have not been fire retardant, and the renovators used a styrofoam to seal windows in the building, which served as an accelerant for the fire. Residents had also complained repeatedly about workers smoking on site, which is a possible source too. Now, one thing that didn't cause the fire, as some media have speculated, is the bamboo scaffolding used. And this has actually caused quite a controversy online in Hong Kong. Hong Kongers are quite insistent that bamboo is a safe material to use in scaffolding, even though the government is planning on phasing the traditional material out, as has already been done on the Chinese mainland. In a press release yesterday, the Hong Kong Development Secretary, Bernadette Lin, acknowledged that scaffolding was not to blame, but said that while the use of bamboo scaffolding has a long history in Hong Kong, the government considers it necessary to develop a roadmap to switch to metal scaffolding. Now, Hong Kongers are quite chauvinistic about bamboo scaffolding in some ways, because Hong Kong was spared the ravages of the Cultural Revolution. Hong Kong is probably more Chinese than the much more nationalistic Chinese mainland. So a lot of people have gone to great lengths on social media to show that bamboo is supposedly fire retardant. That's probably going too far because it's not especially flammable. It has a very high combustion point, but it's not really non-flammable or fire retardant either, especially when fueled by a voracious accelerant, as it was in this case. But the big outcry really in Hong Kong is of an avoidable death trap being created, which again is another echo of the Grenfell Tower tragedy in 2017.
Yeah, and we were talking about the size of this housing complex. I thought it was massive. You're saying compared to other ones in Hong Kong, it's relatively smaller. It's even the smaller of the 2 on the site. How is a tragedy like this going to impact the city?
Well, it's going to impact it just simply because so many people live in complexes like this. Only 25% of Hong Kong's territory is actually inhabited or built on. So the very sight of seeing buildings like this would have a massive emotional and psychological effect on not just Hong Kongers, but anyone who has lived there. So it will probably cause some regulatory overhaul, but whether it actually is going to cause anything substantial in terms of avoiding cases like this, we'll have to see.
All right, Oliver. Thank you very much, Oliver Farry from our International Desk.